challenge are they going to present compared to some other teams you faced this year?
The running backs can make people miss. There's times where people are playing 8-man front against them, and every gap was filled, and there's a guy waiting for the back, and he steps to the right, gets the defender leaning, and breaks it to the left, and he's out, you know. There's a lot of film of that. There's, in the skill positions, if say you go 8-man box again to stop the run, you get one-on-ones on the outside. If you play off, they'll throw, we call it a now pass, right to that receiver, and it's a lot of space, it's one-on-one. If you miss, it's out. If you press, then you're going to deal with fades. And so they got big physical receivers, they're fast, and so anytime it's skill, you're going to have those issues. And I know, you know, we've made an emphasis on tackling. I think we can tackle better than what we've tackled the last 3 weeks, and I take responsibility for that. We've been double-digit missing tackles the last 3 weeks at the end of the year, you know, and so we can tackle better. We're going to need to tackle better for this game.
Dave, I know you would prefer to probably focus strictly on this game, but you know, given your success for a second straight December, your name's come up in conversation with other positions. I was just wondering, do you plan to handle that any differently this time around, or how do you deal with your name coming up in the conversation?
Yeah, you know, I know as much as you know, maybe you're flattered by those things, you are focused on what you're doing and your job and your responsibility to the kids that you're coaching here and to the coach you're coaching for here. And so there's always going to be a time and a place for that. Fortunately, all that can be pushed back further because we've got a great bowl game to get ready for.
Would you consider being a defensive coordinator at another college, or would you, I guess ultimately, what would you like your next step to be?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. You know, I think, you know, I know this is about the time those questions come up, and it's just hard to think about those things when, you know, I think tomorrow we're talking short yardage, so kind of got that in front of my brain, really.
I understand.
Dave, Vince, the other day, we were asking him about, you know, being 13 all conference, because Joe had come out the other day and said should have been more.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw what Vince said, but he was adamant that he called it a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He's very motivated by it.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious what you think of his performance this year, and also, are you concerned that he might, because he says he wants to make a statement in the bowl game,
Right.
that he might try to do too much where they can take advantage of him if he's going out of control a little bit?
Yeah, you know, I think you love Vince for that, that enthusiasm and that fire is what made Vince who he is, and it's going to continue to fuel him going forward, you know. And so when all those things came out, I was recruiting, I was in Tampa, so I was texting all the guys going back. A lot of them didn't know it was out. I was seeing it right when it was coming in, and so I was saying, hey, congrats, you know, you should have been a first team. We did about 6 or 7 of those texts going out, you know, congrats, honorable mention, should have been a first team, congrats, third team, should have been a first team. Maybe I'm, you know, probably biased in thinking that way, but I think as a whole, I think those guys feel similar to what Vince is feeling. I think I'd put Darius right in that category, you know, and so I put Tanner in that category. I put Mike in that category, and so I think it can be as a positive.
Through the first 12 games, you guys lead, or you're up there statistically nationally in so many categories, but when in your mind did you get the sense that, yeah, I think this group of guys, this defense gets it and can be as good as you want?
The Iowa game, I think there was a lot of tough spots that the defense was in. They kept fighting through, and so they showed a lot of heart. I think the thing that strikes me about this group is the resiliency, and is how they play together, and they play hard together, you know. And so those things really came out in that game. And then, you know, the second game I would point to would be the Northwestern game. Both of those games, you could see guys scrap and fight and not go outside of what we're asking them to do. It takes a special team to be able to play in that type of place.
When you look at the numbers, they exceeded your expectations as a defense. You know, #1 scoring defense in the country. Did you expect those types of things, or have they exceeded?
Yeah, you know, never really thought of it in that way. Have always thought of the potential of our guys and wanted to see them play to their potential. I don't know if we've played to our potential in a single game. You know, there's some good games that we've played and guys have fought back and everything else, but to start fast and to finish stronger, we have not yet done that. And our aim is to try to do it in this bowl game. I think it'd be a great spot to do it.
Is it more exciting for you or frustrating to have not played, to your full potential?
I think it's exciting. I think it is. I think and the kids feel it too. They're very challenged by what they see on tape, so they know what's ahead of them. I think our coaches are motivated, so it's a good feeling, especially with some time to prepare, because the 30th should be fun.
It seemed like you started to use T.J. Watt a little bit more at the end of the season. How have you kind of liked his development on defense after making the switch?
Right. Yeah, I think T.J. brings some great length, and he brings some natural pass rush ability. He's able to, when we are in an odd look, play in the B gap on an offensive tackle and get knocked back. And then when we want to pass rush, he's able to win his one-on-ones. You know, we get him on an edge. He still has, or he has, the ability to drop and play in space and tackle in space, so he brings those things too. And so he's unique with those qualities. And so when you have him on the field with Joe and Vince, you can mix and match those guys pretty good.
Does he have the potential long-term to be an every down player?
I believe so, yeah. And you know, he's shown through this last stretch of the season to take more responsibility and run with it, you know, and be productive with it. And so it's a credit to him. It's a credit to Coach Tibesar too.
You talked last year when you were coming back for year 3 about how much you and your family loved Madison and enjoyed being here.
Right.
Has the experience here been more than you could have hoped? I mean, when you came here, I assume you hadn't spent much time in Madison or around this university.
Right.
Just, I guess, reflecting on your 3 years thus far,
Right.
has it been more than
No,
what you could have hoped?
no, yeah, it's been great. You know, any time that you can stay at a place, and my wife has her circle of friends, and she's comfortable and she's happy, and my kids have their friends, and they love their school that they're at and their teachers. And you know, you go home tonight, and the kids in the neighborhood will just be leaving my house, and we'll be picking stuff up and getting ready to go to bed, and just that is a cool thing, you know. And then to be with a bunch of guys like we got here that are so into football and into coaching, you know, our players, man, it's cool to be around. And so it's, you know, you're fortunate to be in that type of spot. It's not always that way.
When you got here a few years ago, what were kind of your first impressions of Joe Schobert? Did you see this kind of potential in him, or was it just something he kind of developed into?
Yeah, Joe has always been able to make things look easy. I think he's got a quality about him to where he can decipher things on the run quickly, and he can do it in a fashion where there's no wasted movement. And so when it is come time to make the play that's coming to you, there's an extra burst, or there's an extra power that comes with him, because he's not going left, right, left. He's just seeing the play, going left, you know. And so it's a special talent that he has. He's intelligent. He studies the game. You couldn't ask for anything more. I really feel motivated to help him win his last game.
Did he surprise you with his production this year?
No, you know, there was I think we might have talked about this before, but there was I think it's Pro Football Focus, and they do stats analysis and things, and they came to us in the off season and did a study on the defense and everything, and looked at the Big Ten, I guess, really. And Joe was the number 2 or 3 most efficient pass rusher in the Big Ten last year. But we didn't rush him enough, you know. So I forget how they said it. They said it kind of politely, you know. And so I got the idea. And so it's been, you know, we've rushed Joe more. And his production has been about what it was last year, but he's had more opportunities.
Do you guys rely on those type of stats very often? Or?
No, I mean, they provide a great service. There's others that are like them. There's Coaches by Numbers is another one, but there are things I think that can help steer you in the right path if you're not 100% clear. There's a lot of times where the film is going to tell you, you know, and those types of programs kind of validate what the film has already shown.